Flashy New York bishop being sued for $5 million for locking the congregation out of church. Oh my goodness. Why in the world would you need to lock your congregation out of church? So here we see New York pastor Bishop Lamar Whitehead is being sued for allegedly locking his congregation out of his Brooklyn church. Pastor and founder of the Leaders Tomorrow International Churches, in the news over the last year for all the wrong reasons. He allegedly illegally evicted worshipers after purchasing a church building at auction. If we look further down, it says that he did it like right around Christmas time. Yep, Whitehead is reportedly being sued by Glory of God Global Ministry for allegedly changing the locks to the church just weeks before Christmas. Man, good grief. That is ridiculous, in my opinion. Ridiculous that he's doing this type of stuff. So there's been a whole lot of controversy surrounding this guy. He's known for like wearing, like as you see here, like super expensive watches, super expensive jewelry. He got robbed at his church recently, robbed at gunpoint, and someone came and stole, I believe, his necklace. I haven't looked into that as much yet. But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on with him. He's like under investigation for fraud. Just all kinds of stuff with Lamar Whitehead. Recently, he even just had it said, Whitehead was in the middle of his sermon when a woman distracted him midway through. He immediately confronted the woman from the stage, and as she approached him, video shows him grabbing her by the hair. Okay, so let's see what it says here.
Whitehead appears to get disrupted.
You want to come preach? You want to come preach? You want to come preach? Come on up here. Come on up here.
The bishop says it all started when two women came into the church mid-sermon.
One of my ministers told them that you cannot record. You can't record. And they began to make a scene.
Police say when a woman was asked to stop recording and leave, she began to antagonize the bishop and approach him on stage.
Okay. I don't unnecessarily understand the no recording. Like, let's be real, in all honesty, if you are a pastor of a church in today's world, in today's society, in what we live in like now, and where we live right now, like, expect for your message to be recorded. I mean, that is like most churches nowadays that's like what they're desiring to do, is record a service. And so I think honestly there was an idea that he didn't like these people, or he knew they didn't like him, so therefore you can't record or something like that. But just keep in mind, like as we go forward, keep in mind at the very beginning he called her up, like he said, come up here. Oh, wrong thing. Hold on.
They take pictures and they want to be on social media. Take the pictures. Take the pictures.
As she walks past Bishop Whitehead, he appears to grab her from behind and they move off camera.
Seen her walk in front of me.
I mean, so clearly grabs her by the hair, pushes her out of the way. Like, let's see what his reasoning is, why that would be a good idea in any way, shape, or form as a pastor on Sunday morning.
Going at my wife and my daughter.
So he says she was going at his wife.
He says he was worried about his family and thinking back to the moment in July when he was robbed at gunpoint during a sermon streamed live online.
That's the only thing that I can remember. This lady...
Okay, so he does stream live online, I guess. I guess they just don't want people recording inside of the church service itself for some reason. I don't know if you're live streaming, it's going out to the world anyways. So he's saying in this that he was worried about like what happened to him in July happening in this scenario. And like for that, like in all honesty, like I can give charity there and to a degree. Like I understand, like being robbed, I imagine, is very like traumatizing, especially in the middle of a church service on live stream, like where anyone can see that this dude got robbed at gunpoint, live stream in July. And then this confrontation happens and he sees her, she walks past him, and she's going towards his wife, yelling at her. And then in reality, like, my mind goes to, if that was my wife, like, I would do anything to protect my wife regardless of what gender you are. Like, I will do anything to protect my wife and my kids. And so with that, like, I can give him some charity there and understand where he's coming from. The only thing I don't understand in that also is from the standpoint of, he told her to come up, you know, like, basically invited her to come up, like said, come up here, you come preach, and then come take the picture, and saying all this stuff just to taunt her, you know, and then she comes up, and then he grabs her and forcibly removes her. So as a whole, I don't think very well played by him. Kind of not well played in that scenario. And then as the whole, with him being sued, honest opinion, and I'll give you a takeaway here at the end, but my honest opinion is that this is going to get probably settled outside of court, that there will be a settlement, there will be something. But the reality is like that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, yo. $5 million for changing the locks. That's what it said. He changed the locks on the church, and they wanted to take the building from him. They wanted to take the building from him and not give him the permission to even use the building at all anymore, because he changed the locks and locked people out around Christmas time of the church building. That is like insane. $5 million. And so, like, real short, like, I want to give you a Bible verse just to kind of pull some things together for where I'm going at. And I'm not going to sit here, like, if you're expecting me to sit here and say that Lamar Whitehead is a false gospel preacher because he wears expensive jewelry and he seems to be caught up in the world in a lot of ways, I'm not going to do that right now. I don't know enough about him. I have not studied, like, in depth on this dude. Like, I have looked at a lot of the stuff that he's being charged for, and a lot of it doesn't look good. Like, I'm saying there's a lot of red flags, but I'm not going to just sit here from my seat and act like I'm on my throne and say, like, this person is a heretic and he's false, you know? I'm going to say that there are some flags that I see that are like, hey, this is not very good, but I'm not going to sit here right now and say that he's false. So let's pull this together. I want to pull this together and give you what I am thinking, though. So here is an idea of what I am thinking kind of with this. We're going to be in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 9 through 10. And it says this, but those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, into a snare, into many senseless and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evils. It is through this craving that some have wandered away from the faith and pierced themselves with many pangs. So guys, like, pull it all together. He locked his congregation out of the church building before Christmas. Now, it's either the congregation or, like, that denomination of what it seems is suing him for $5 million. You know, like, we could get into the whole scenario of, like, settling things, like coming to one another, settling things outside of court, you know, before sending a lawsuit. And I don't know what steps they took, but $5 million is a lot. And so from the outside looking in, and I'm saying that clearly, from the outside looking in, it looks like there's a lot of people who really want money. It looks like there's a lot of people who really want money. And it appears that Lamar Whitehead is one of them, disappointingly. But I will be praying for him, and I hope you will be praying for him as well as he goes through these things, and just praying, like, for one, that we're seeing things properly from a proper lens and not from a lens of judgment, but also just that if it is that he is, like, in love with stuff, like, in love with things, in love with money, you know, that he would come to repentance and just come to really following and trusting in Jesus. We are about to go to the next topic. Please like this video. If you have not yet, subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, and turn on all notifications so you know every time we have a new weekly upload. And now finally we have a Patreon account. If you want to go to Patreon, I will have the link in the description after the video. I have not put it in yet, but there will be a link in the description for you guys. You can sign up for as little as $5 a month, and that gives you some awesome perks into just being a part of the community of One Thing Studios. Guys, I love you. Thanks for joining, and let's hop into the next topic.
Only one thing is needed. One thing is needed. One thing is needed.